Hello everyone, welcome back to Lemm's Guide on how to get good in Guild Wars 2. My name is Lemm, and today we'll be talking about builds. What are they and why they matter? Now, you might have heard about builds here and there, and what are they exactly? Well, builds are a combination of your traits, which you can come here, press H, come to build, and you can see your traits here, your skills, and the stats you've chosen to your gear. The runes, the sigils, the relic, all of it is part of your build. It's how you have constructed your character, right? And for most new players, they just pick whatever they can from story and open world, and it's just a mix of everything. Uh, and not having a build, not having like a proper specialized build, actually makes the game much harder than it's supposed to be. uh, because you're not really good at anything. You're just kind of bad at everything because you don't have the stats to be, to kill things fast enough or to survive well enough or to buff well enough. So you do everything very poorly. And this makes open world so hard. Um, but there's a light in the end of the tunnel. You're learning about builds now. You've already learned about the roles you can have in Guild Wars 2, and those roles, they are specialized. You have people who put all their stats into dealing damage. They have people who put all their stats into healing, and so on. Of course, there are mixed stats as well. You can mix them yourself, but it's always important to remember that you should pick a direction to follow. Otherwise, you're just gonna be all over the place and not be good at anything. A common build, stat at least, that you see on YouTube, where after all, one build for all contents, or great build for soloing champions in open world, blah blah blah. They're often celestial. Now, what they don't tell you is that celestial gear, which, in case you don't know, if you're new, celestial stats, as you can see here, give you a little bit of everything, all the stats in the game. So they're very generalized. Um, what they don't tell you is that for in end game, when you enter a group content, celestial is actually a healing gear. It's when the healer feels there's no need for that much healing for them to like focus on heals only, that they bring some extra damage, so they go celestial. For open world, this does work fine, but not for all classes. That's something they don't tell you either. Because say the virtuoso here, I don't really have any healing skills. I only have my one heal skill. And celestial does not, like the healing power on celestial does not affect my heal skill very much. Healing power will have different effects on every ability. And for healing skills, it doesn't often affect them that much. So it would be a useless stat. So I would rather focus, like, get stats that give me something like less amount of stats, instead of a little bit of everything, and have more of those stats that I actually want. It might work better for, say, the virtuoso. Does this mean celestial is bad? No, not at all. It is actually really good. You have a good chunk of all the stats in the game, which means you deal decent damage, you heal yourself well. If you're using a class that can heal, even better. Those abilities are going to be affected by your healing power so much that you can function as an open world healer with some good damage. Um, but, it's not for all the classes. Sometimes you want to mix things up. It's also very, very, very important to note that celestial gear has very little power damage and very little precision, and precision is critical chance and critical damage as well from ferocity, which means condition weapons actually work much better with them. So in the first video, you've learned about how the weapons are divided into condi and power. So power weapons don't go very well with condition builds. I mean celestial gear. So you want to use condition weapons with your celestial gear. You're going to deal a lot more damage. Okay? But back to builds. Um, when I bring players here, we cover everything we've just covered, and then I talk about specific classes and the rotation and everything. And like I've said earlier, you can go to like Snow Crows and get some good builds there. Those builds are for raids, though, so you have no defense and no vitality, no toughness, no vitality. And players are like, I'm gonna die with a slap. Why would I ever use this in open world? Now here's the thing. Uh, Oftentimes players they get so much toughness, which increases your armor, and so much vitality, which increases your HP, that they don't have enough damage to kill things. And as they get higher to higher level content, things are gonna kill them much faster than they can kill the things. So focusing everything you have on toughness and vitality is not good. You need to have damage to kill things fast. And that's why I often recommend raid builds, specialized builds to open world. I recommend using them in open world for a couple of reasons. One, yes, you're going to kill things very fast. Two, and this is the most important one, you're going to learn how to use your rotation outside of the training room. See, I play this build, this Virtuoso build, and I have my own rotation. I get like 35, 36k DPS, right? And there are players that I know that come here and they get like 42, 43. But then we go into actual content and I deal more damage than them. How is that possible? Well, they practice in this environment where they're just standing still. There's no mechanics, there's no dodging, there's nothing knocking them down or back. So, in a perfect situation, they outdamage me, but when it actually comes to gameplay, I play better than them because I practiced by playing this build in open world. If you can survive open world with a squishy build and still deal good damage or buff or whatever is your priority, you will be able to play raids and fractals without any issues. Specifically talking about open world, I usually recommend, this is just to close the video, but I usually recommend boom DPS builds for open world. You might be asking why. Well, if you are on Alacrity boom DPS, for example, you're gonna be able to use your skills more often. This means using your healing skill more often, so you can survive better. If you are a quickness buffer, you do everything 50% faster. So, for example, this ability right here has a 1 second cast time, but if I have quickness, it's 0.5 seconds. So I can cast things more often, I mean, faster, which will help me survive as well. And also, depending on your class, you're gonna bring more buffs to the table, like protection, which reduces all the damage you take by 32%. So for open world, if you're still wondering which build you should try, give Boom DPS a try. It is what I personally recommend.